Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Anne and I'm a certified OBM. First of all, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and remember to turn on the notifications so you find out about the new episodes. So I love all things planning. If you've seen my previous videos, if you've seen anything about me, you know that I love a plan. Love a plan. Whether it's on paper, whether it's on a project management tool, I love it. Setting some deadlines, setting some delegations, who's going to do it, when are they going to do it, what are they doing? It all brings everything together and it means you get to that goal that you want. So how do you plan? Talked about like the benefits, like absolutely. If you don't plan, you will not get to those goals, or you might, but there's so much uncertainty around it. There's so much vagueness. You will not get to you'll not do it in a timely manner. You'll be like, no, okay, well, I'll get it when I get to it. But you'll miss out on opportunities. Things where you won't realize what's there. You won't be able to do things proactively. You will be stuck in your business firefighting. Planning is absolutely vital. However, the amount of people who say, but I haven't got time to plan. And you know what? I fall into that category where I think, oh, I've got to carve out some time in my day. How am I going to do that? Well, I do because I know the power of it. I know the power of planning. And it's about getting really a habit in your day for you that suits you and your team will all have their own different ways of doing it. Something that suits you, that means actually you'll be like, okay, I've got my coffee, I'm going to plan my day. I have set it in a diary, so I'm going to plan my month. You need to build habits. Now, habits probably can be a whole new little episode on that, because I find it absolutely fascinating about how you build a habit. But I'm not going to go into that now. Just know that habits are absolutely amazing. So building these habits, building this planning into your day is the difference between getting to your goals and falling short of them. And I've said before, like you, as a business owner, as a CEO, the challenge isn't about a lack of ideas. It isn't about a lack of ambition or vision. It is about a lack of planning, which you can put down to a lack of time to plan. But you can't afford not to plan. So how do we carve that out? And it's building a habit. So you can have habits, you can build habits in any aspect of your life: health, personal development, business, learning. It's about the consistency. So consistently planning helps you achieve those goals. I read, and I will do a bit of a review at a later stage, James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, and I found absolutely fascinating, because what it looks like, what it looks at is habits, what they are, how you form them, and how even something small and tiny can lead to significant improvements. So one of his rules, and I'm probably going to misquote this, so certainly don't quote me, go and buy the book, is that to start a habit, do it for 2 minutes. And you get used to the habit, you get into that way, and you build that habit for 2 minutes every day, or however often the habit is applicable, until you go, okay, well, I'll add an extra minute on, but I'll add an extra minute on. And you're building small, but those small incremental habits lead to big outcomes. And a great example, and it was kind of like really plays on my mind, I just think it's so clear, is that in the book, it gives the example of an ice cube melting. And you put this ice cube, this frozen hard, solid water, ice form, ice cube in a room. And it starts off at a base temperature. I can't remember what the temperature is. That's not vitally important. And the temperature goes up by 1 degree. Nothing happens to the ice cube. It's still frozen. You turn it up another degree, still frozen. You turn it up to another degree, still frozen. You turn it up another degree, still frozen. So you're doing these small, tiny steps. You turn it up that degree, and suddenly the ice starts melting. You see the effect. But it's still only 1 degree that you've moved up. But actually, do you know what? That 1 degree, if you hadn't have done all the 1 degrees beforehand, then you wouldn't have been able to do this one. So even though you're making these tiny, small changes or habits, you need all of these together to then make that change. So I'm not saying, oh, go out and say, oh, every day I'm going to plan for an hour. That's not sustainable. That's too much of a change from what you do now. But what I am saying is, I'm sure you can have 5 minutes a day when you're sat down with your morning coffee, and maybe that is your new habit. You get your coffee, you sit down, you have your pad or your digital version of a to-do list for the day, and you fill that in. Your habit is already with making a coffee, so it makes it even easier. And actually, again, look at the book, get the book, I do recommend it, is that you can see how existing habits can actually be used to create stronger new habits. So it's the consistency of planning, it's those habits, it's those getting used to it. And the thing that got me into this book is actually, there's a YouTube channel called Veritasium, and I'll pop the link in the notes. And he covers all sorts of amazing stuff. But the one I watched that got me into this was talking about habits, but talking about kind of New Year's resolutions, and that is really like everyone goes into New Year's going, wow, I'm going to change this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to make these big changes. And you get kind of like a week in, 2 weeks in, and go, no. And they go, and they fall. The key is making it small. And his example was writing a journal. And so he said, okay, every day I'm going to write one word in a journal, because actually it's the habit of picking it up and writing it. It's not about saying I'm going to write 10 pages every day, because that's too big. That's too big to think about. So planning for an hour every day is too big. Right now, if you're going from 0 to 1 hour, too big. And actually, I followed that, and I went, oh, do you know what? I've always really wanted to journal. I got into what I tried to do a gratitude journal in lockdown, which was really good, but it was kind of like there was too much to do. So I got myself a journal, and I said my target was to write one sentence a day. And it didn't matter what the sentence was, short sentence, long sentence, minimum of one sentence. So every day for now nearly a year, I have been writing. And you know what? Sometimes it's more, sometimes I have lots to write. But at the absolute minimum, I write one sentence, but it's the habit of picking that journal up and doing it. So it's that habit of picking up your to-do list and writing it down. It's the habit of sitting down and going, okay, this is my business plan. What do I need to do? But those habits, those small, consistent habits, will result in you being able to plan and you being able to therefore reach your goals. So why am I talking about habits when we're talking about planning and business? Because there is a role for planning habits in business growth. So planning is crucial to business growth or business change. And how do you get that consistency? By building a habit into it. So habits go to planning, go to business growth, or to business change if it's maybe a restructure or stepping away from the business that you're looking at rather than a growth initiative. And that's fine. But the planning aligns your daily activities with the long-term objectives. So you know that today, by doing task 1, actually that contributes to the goal that you want to achieve in 12 months' time. Otherwise, you're just kind of like, well, I'll do this. This serves a purpose right now. But does it serve a purpose for reaching your goal? Without planning, you don't know. And without getting those habits, you don't plan. And the other thing about the habit is about about finding that time, is about carving out the time in your day to make sure you plan. Because I say, if I said you need to sit down for an hour and plan, I haven't got time, I've got this to do, that to do, here to be, there to be. So build it into your day. Habit building really can transform your planning process. The habit of regular planning will help you approach your day better, approach your week better, approach your whole overall goal. Everything will come together to get to that goal. And when it becomes a habit, it requires less mental energy. You can then really focus on the priorities right now, what matters. You move from being reactive, from fighting those fires in your business, to being proactive, to taking control. Planning, and I've recognized this in myself, planning helps you take control of something. Like if you have a plan to say, well, this, Yes, plans have to be flexible. They might change. Unexpected things come up, but the plan themselves is almost like a comfort blanket to say, yeah, but okay, well, we've got a blip, but we can go back on. We can go back online. When planning is second nature to you, you will have a clearer vision of everywhere your business is heading. And it's not just business, it will help in your life as well. Okay, so habits are important, planning is important. So how are we going to build those strong planning habits? Now, first of all, what I do recommend, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, but read James Clear's Atomic Habits. It's brilliant. And it's got loads of things actually you can do, got resources that you can download from his website. So I really would recommend doing that. But as a starter for 3, incorporate planning into your daily, weekly and monthly routines. That will get you started. So monthly strategic planning at the start of each month, or maybe at the end of the month, ready for the next month ahead. Set some time aside to review your business's goals, but on a high level. You want to identify your key actions and your key priorities for the next month, the next 30 days. And these actions are all going to be in line with your bigger goal, whether that's 12 months, a 5-year goal. And it will help your team's activities, making sure that they all contribute to that long-term vision. Have a weekly team planning session. Hold regular meetings with your team to review progress, and that's checking in with them, finding out where they are, and also keeping them really involved in the business journey. Confirm priorities that you've got for the week ahead and address any challenges. So because you're planning, you can actually preempt a lot of challenges that are going to come up, or be ready to deal with things that come up in the moment. It keeps day-to-day operations in sync with your strategy, which again means your weekly actions contribute to that much larger goal. And spend some time daily doing some planning yourself. So spend just 5 or 10 minutes each morning reviewing your top 3 to 5 priorities. And again, these still should be going into your bigger business goals. But actually you're saying, well, today the priority is this, and other things can be delegated or moved. But as long as you do those absolute top priorities, you're winning for the day. But it is about starting small. It's those small, tiny increments, but added together, they are going to really help you get to your goal. And by starting small, it means you're not suddenly making these big changes, which can feel too big, too overwhelming. And going back to the New Year's resolutions, they're too big. Like if you do something big and grand, it's harder because you're changing so many things at once. Whereas one small 2-minute habit or tiny small increment at a time, that habit becomes ingrained in you, and you can then build on that and build on that. And that's okay. Start small, but it will snowball. If you're not sure that you can stick with these new habits, then make yourself accountable. Now, it might be that you use a reminder. It might be that you have an alarm set on your phone. It might be that you write it in your planner. It might be that you just rely on yourself in some way. Or you could work with somebody else in the team or somebody else outside of the team to say, do you know what? Can we just maybe check in, maybe like whether it's once a week, whether it's daily, make sure that you're keeping on top of things. And that really is accountability at its best, because like, okay, I know I need to do this because I've got to tell Anne that I've done it. And that's actually how I work with a lot of my clients, is that they go, oh, I've got to do it because I will be asking them. So make yourself accountable and look at habit stacking. And that's where I mentioned about having a coffee. If you've already got a habit of making a coffee, then use that habit to build on. And maybe it's the time that you spend waiting for the coffee to brew, the kettle to boil, that you do 2 minutes planning your day. Maybe it's sitting down and while you're drinking a coffee, you plan your day, and it will make it stronger. So right now, take that first step and just spend 5 minutes to plan the rest of your day. And if it's late in the evening, then plan tomorrow. Just get ahead of it, see how it feels, and see the difference it can make. I hope you found that useful. Next thing to do is subscribe to my channel and you'll get a notification when the new episodes come up. And why not make that a habit that when you do get the notification that you'll spend 10 to 15 minutes listening to my next episode. See you soon.